Hey guys, welcome back to Vanguard Motor Sales. I'm Greg and I'm standing in front of 51 Mercury. This thing is practically all original and you're gonna love checking it out. So go to the website at vanguardmotorsales.com. We'll get it up on the lift so you can check out the underside. We're gonna pop the hood and take a look at the flathead making the power. We're gonna look at the stock appearing interior. We're gonna look at this jet black paint. We're gonna show you everything you wanna see so you can make a great decision on your 51 Merc. So come on up and let's fire this flathead up for you right now. So check this beautiful Merc out. Look at all that chrome. Can you imagine? There's thousands of dollars worth of chrome work there. That grille is beautiful. The bumper guards, the bumper, the trim rings on the headlight, the emblem here, the Mercury emblem, the Mercury man, and look at this jet black paint, man. Is it slick or what? Got spotlights on both sides, dual spotlights. We got the stainless around the windshield looking good. We got all the stainless trim down the side looking good, around the windows. Pop open the door and look at the interior in there. That is very, very close to the original interior. And look at that steering wheel, the Mercury man right in the center of it, man. Isn't that cool? And then check out the skull on the dash. We've got a crystal skull of the Mercury man on the dash. Everything about the car is amazing, guys. She is slick as can be. Back seat looks good. There's even seat belts in the back seat. Headliner's looking great. The dash itself's in beautiful shape. You just don't find these Mercs in this nice a condition anywhere. Most of them have been chopped up. As a matter of fact, we happen to have a 51 Merc that's black that's chopped right now. All the stainless back here looks good. All the trim looks great. We got our duals coming out the back. Tail lights look good. The stainless around the back window looks good. When you look down the side of the car, she's straight as can be. Just a beautiful car here, guys. And check out the lake pipes there on the side. These are actually hooked up, guys, so you uncap those, you got open headers. Hey, at Vanguard Motor Sales, we are not a consignment dealer. So we spend the time to check the cars out before we buy them. When we get them in here to the showroom, we inspect them so we can answer all your questions when you call at 248-974-9513. Now, I'm involved in buying every one of the cars here at Vanguard, so what that means to you is you're getting my 35 plus years of experience helping you pick out your dream car. All right, let's go for a ride in this 51 Merc. I'll tell you what a sweet ride it is too, man. I tell you, I know these Mercuries. I grew up in James Dean land down there in Fairmount, Indiana. So I've been hanging around all the Mercury meets and everything that were associated with that hometown of James Dean ever since I was a kid. So I've seen me some Mercuries and this is one beauty. Now we've got a chop top 51 right now in stock also. Looks like this car's twin, but it's been all chopped up. And it is a beautiful car too, but it's been lowered and chopped. Where this one has got a lot of custom stuff done to it, but it's basically stock. Very cool. Look at that steering wheel. The Mercury man in the steering wheel. The steering wheel itself's beautiful. Look at the dash. It's beautiful. The speedo's working. We got a tack here. We got some gauges down here. We got a crystal ball there with the Mercury man. Isn't that sweet? I'll tell you what, this is a sweet car, guys. And we can park this dream in your drive no matter where you live in the world. So call Tom at 248-974-9513 and let us park this dream in your driveway. If you need some help with financing, we got you covered on financing too, no problem whatsoever. We got 2-3 different bankers we work with all the time. We can get you financed on this Mercury, and we can get this dream parked in your drive. I tell you what, 3 on the tree, and she is amazing. Got a big old Flathead V-8 up front making the power, just like James Dean would have had. I'll tell you what, this is one sweet ride here, guys. Now, we're right outside of Detroit. We're only 20 minutes from the airport, so if you'd like to check us out, we'd love to have you come in. We sell about 95% of our cars sight unseen on the internet, so we'd love to have visitors come in. We'd love to have you come in. If you want to send in an inspector, we'll treat the inspector just like we treat you, no problem whatsoever. If you'd like a little something on the car changed, no problem whatsoever. We got a whole team of mechanics. We can do just about anything to this car you may need. Now stick with us, we're about to do something nobody else in the industry does. We're gonna put this car in the air so you can check out the underside, then we're gonna pop the hood and take a look at that flathead.
All right guys, this is the underside of our old Mercury here. So it does look like we at one point have had a new gas tank installed in it. Something else I'd like to point out, it does look like it has an electric fuel pump on this thing. New fuel line, looks like it goes all the way up to the carburetor. This right here is a Dana 44 rear axle here, open differential, drum brakes on either side. Of course, here at Vanguard, we pull all this stuff apart. You can be assured that you're going to get correctly assembled drum brakes. The ratio in this is actually pretty impressive. Like it's like a 4:27 to 1, I think is what the math is. The tag here says 47 divided by 11, which actually comes out to like 4.27 repeating. I did roll it over, it is actually right. So a nice low rear end in this thing, and with a little bit of a hot rod motor, it probably doesn't scoot half bad for as big as it is. Of course, we do have the glass packs on this thing to get the nice old school flathead crackle, just something that I just adore with all of these flathead kind of old timey cars. Floor pans actually look like they're in pretty good shape. They're nice and simplistic for back in the day. You can see that there's no big fancy things to, it's pretty simplistic, and you can see that it all looks like it's in pretty good shape. All of like the low strengthening ribs, I don't see any like rot and anything like that. Looks like a lot of the factory undercoat is still on it, which is pretty cool. So overall, nice stuff here. Garage strap, it's there. Moving forward to that, I'd like to also point out the frame rails look like they're in pretty good shape. I don't see any pitting, like, like implying that this was really nasty at one point and then it was sandblasted. You get that deep pit. This actually looks like it's about how it would have been. I'm actually pretty happy to see this. It looks pretty nice. And when you get the deep pitting, sometimes the structure, rigidity starts to go away a little bit. Now this is a 3-speed transmission here. I don't see any casting numbers or marks on the transmission, but I have no reason to believe it's not the right one for the car. Now this is a 3-speed transmission, and it is my favorite thing about this car is it actually, well, the second favorite thing outside of the motor about this car is the column shift, which is what this is hooked up to. It doesn't go through the floor. Another thing this car has, I'm sure Greg has probably pointed it out at some point, is it does have the side pipes on it. You can see here that it just comes right off of the exhaust. You can uncap those, and it gets even louder. Coming forward of that, this is the underside of our Flathead V8 here. It does have a upgraded starter on this thing, so as opposed to the old-timey starter, you do have almost like a little mini starter on it. Front end on these, we always check this stuff out. Everything looks like it's got the serviceable style greasable stuff, and of course, it being 50s, no big surprise there. Front end on this, it actually does have an independent front end, which is all good stuff. That made its debut right around this time period. Now we do have drum brakes on the front of this thing as well with kingpins, in addition to like an independent front suspension. So very, very, early, kind of 50s stuff that we got going on here, and it's all period correct for the car. But you know what? It worked. The human race has survived, and it all still to this day obviously continues to work. It's all serviceable, all greasable. Like I said, drum brakes on the front. You should be all good. Master cylinder on this thing is actually located up next to the frame rail here. And that actually has like a cap on it right there. So that's you have just the stock brakes that would be on this car from back in the day. The front, I would call this like a frame cross member up here in the front. Looks like it's in good shape. You can see they've got this big old drainage hole here, so they of course never really did clog up with dirt, and therefore feels fine inside as far as the rot goes. Sway bar looks like it's in good shape. Kind of an interesting design they have here for the sway bar bushings. It almost looks like the bushing that would go up here. So an interesting early design for that as well. Overall, pretty nice car. Looks like we do have new shocks on it as well. Pretty nice underneath, relatively solid. I mean, I'd be happy to own it. Let's check out wheels and tires. Okay guys, for tire size, we have 235/75 R15 with the Goodyear wide white walls, which is just, of course, that's what this car just needs. It does have the diamonds in it, which is actually pretty cool. Good looking hubcaps on it. You can see the lake pipe sticking out there. Of course, all the trim on the car looks like it's in wonderful shape. Paint's not in bad shape here. Give the fender lip here a feel. Good thick steel I like to see on this thing. I mean, like thick steel. Let's go check out the rear. All right guys, back here, same size, 235/75 R15, which means these tires are fully rotatable. Same good looking wide white, same good looking hubcap, although this does actually look like it has a different hubcap on it back here than it does up front, which I find to be a little bit comical. It does have the Continental package skirts, does have the trim back here, and of course the paint continues to look all right, and once again, good, solid, thick steel. That's what these cars were built with, and that's why it's still around, quite frankly. Let's go take a look at the flathead under the hood, the good stuff. This is what I'm talking about right here. These are the sorts of things that I absolutely adore. Flathead Ford V8, just as it should be. I believe it to be a Henry block, which is like an actual Ford block. So this thing has been modified extensively internally. So this thing actually has a 4-inch, actually it's a stroker flathead. It's a 274 cubic inch engine. So you have a 4-inch stroke crank, you have H-beam scat rods, and you have, they are 4-ring pistons. They're actually, I can't pronounce it, it starts with an E, but it's like an aluminum 4-ring piston that's in this. We do have a set of aftermarket cylinder heads on it. Samarin, if I'm not mistaken, big boy cylinder heads, and these things are really, really thick. They're like, including the fin, it's like 3 inches, if not just a little bit more. We have ARP head bolts in all of this. Of course, and these have got these cylinder heads have got this really cool water feed feature here as well. Overall, really cool. We do have a Edelbrock intake on this thing, and atop that Edelbrock intake is a small Holley 390 CFM vacuum secondary 4-barrel with vacuum secondaries. And of course, it does have an electric choke. If you want to hook it up, feel free to, but as of right now, it is unhooked. Another thing that they've done to this engine is they do have the like the Magneto style ignition. I'm not certain if it's a look-alike or if it's a real one, but of course it's got the look. We do have a actual oil filter on these. For those of you who do not know, flatheads originally never actually came with oil filters unless of course they were divorced from the engine itself. And it's not like a full filtration system like how modern cars are. So it only takes part of the oil and filters it and then catches anything from there. And that is an aftermarket piece available on Speedway there. It looks like that's, it's very fitting for all the fin stuff under here. Something a little more modern that they've done to this thing, as you can see, of course, it's got AC on it. It's got a March pulley setup on a flathead with a serpentine belt, which is just mind-boggling to me to see the old clash with the new here. But it works very well, and it actually looks like it's done fairly tastefully. And you can see here, of course, we've got all of our this style of really. I'm going to go into the year of the block real quick. This would be like it's a 24-bolt head, which is anywhere from 38 to 53. Now, and a lot of the time with the later ones, you have your water that comes up here from the center of the head here, which is what this is, and these tubes look like they're very nice. Underneath there, everything looks good down there. Battery, of course, it looks like it's relatively new here, and a nice custom-made little cradle for it. Overall, engine bay paint looks like it's in good shape. Fender well paint looks like it's in good shape. Master cylinder is up underneath the car, as you heard me say just a second ago. Overall, just a really nice, very period correct engine, and I love to see a flathead in this thing. I mean, absolutely, that's the spirit of hot rodding. This is kind of where a lot of it started, is the Flathead V8. So that all being said, if you'd like to have this thing parked in your driveway, make sure to call Tom with the number below and let Vanguard Motor Sales park this Merc in your driveway.